What's up everyone? In this video, I'm going to go over how you can deploy a smart contract in 6 simple steps. Now, I'm not going to go in detail over what is smart contract and how you code it. It's just a straightforward implementation that if you have a smart contract handy, how you can deploy it on Ethereum network, right? So first we are going to set up an environment. Let's do that. So let me create a folder called test, right? I'll go inside that test, and then I'm gonna initiate a npm package.json library. So that's ready. Now I'm going to install some dependencies that I would need for my JavaScript project. So I'll go over them in detail. So the first one is ethers. Ethers is basically a complete Ethereum wallet implementation and utilities in JavaScript. It basically provides me with all the API that I need to interact with my contract, whether it's being deploying or testing it out. The second one is Hardhat. So Hardhat basically provides me a development environment. Again, it helps me in compiling, deploying and debugging smart contracts, and you will see in detail how we use Hardhat. The third one is Nomic Hardhat waffle. So this is specifically for the configuration purposes. Now when I have my contract ready with me, I need something or some commands to deploy it on the network, right? That's where this part comes in handy. The last one is .env. So .env is a very basic npm module which allows me to import all the environment variables, as I'll be using some environment variables, some API keys, because if you want to interact with Ethereum, obviously you will need two major things. One is your wallet related fields, and the other one is an API key which allows or gives you access to the API to interact with the Ethereum, right? So these are the two keys that I'll be using, and that's why I need .env, because you never share this information with anyone else. So when you actually push your code to GitHub, or maybe you will be using it with your other teammates, you actually keep this as your local environment variables, and you can import them directly in your JavaScript project. Okay, so I guess that's with the, let me see, okay, we are inside test folder. So that's with the setting up environment. Now next part would be, we would initiate a Hardhat environment. So we need some files. So when you run Hardhat command, it's gonna actually create or give you a bunch of custom made folders and some sample contracts and sample deploy script. That is very handy, and it basically simplifies our life. So let's go on with that. Yeah, so right now I'm just creating a simple basic project, because as I said, I'm not gonna go in detail how or why and how to code a smart contract. I'll just have a sample contract which Hardhat provides me with, and I'm just gonna deploy that. Okay, yeah, yes, okay, so cool. So Hardhat is ready. Let me quickly check my test folder. So as you can see, it gives us a folder called contracts. It has some basic contract called greeter, and its extension is Solidity, because you can only write Ethereum contracts in Solidity language. We don't need to go in detail what it is. You can actually copy and paste your own Solidity contract. And we have a script, sample script. So I'll be actually using this folder to have a deploy script which basically deploys our contract. And then at the end we have this Hardhat config. This is what I was talking about. Here we will need to add some details related to our configuration changes. Like, let me quickly copy paste that. It's a very small information. So what I'm gonna do here is, yeah, so this is how my Hardhat configuration will look. It basically takes this thing, a networks field. So network basically tells our Hardhat project that, okay, I am gonna deploy this contract to a Ethereum test network, and that's why it's Rinkeby, because Rinkeby is a test network. Now obviously it needs a URL to know where the Rinkeby test network is hosted or where it exists. So there is this site called Alchemy. You can just create an account, and you can create a dashboard app, and it will give you an API key. So that API key will come as a URL. So I'm using that here. Basically, in short, think of it like, I know this is where somewhere in the cloud my Rinkeby Ethereum network is hosted. Now I need to go there and deploy my contract. So this is what the URL will tell us. The next thing is account private key. Now this account private key in my case would be my account, as when you deploy a smart contract on Ethereum, there is some gas fees that you need to pay, and it's gonna take out some Ethereum for it, right? So it needs to know who is the owner of this contract and from whom I am taking this amount out. So the way you can get this account key is, you go to your MetaMask and you go here, you go to your account details, and here if you click on export private key, it will basically give you your private key, and you can copy paste that. Now for this purposes, because I am using environment variable, I have to create a file called .env, where I'll be adding all my configuration, like Alchemy Rinkeby URL as well as account private key URL. I am gonna move to another screen because I'll be copy pasting my environment key as it's required for deployment purposes. Okay, so I have added all the things to my environment variable, and that is ready. So this was related to the configuration part. Let me go back to my this thing. So I have created a contract. Okay, so creating a contract, as I said, I'll be using a greeter existing Solidity contract. I think this should be 8.4 because that's what we are using here as our configuration. Okay, and our configuration is done. Now code for deployment. Yeah, so we would need something, some code that will actually deploy, that will actually tell that, okay, take this URL of Rinkeby Ethereum network, go there, put my contract as a block, and then return me back the address where it's deployed. So I'm gonna create a file with deploy.js, right? So I'm gonna create the script, and this script will basically take these commands. I'll quickly go over what it is. So as we saw in the beginning, we had installed ETH's dependency, right? And it allows us to deploy our project. So basically this one in this case will be basically taking greeter. So it's basically gonna fetch whatever is there in the contracts folder and by this name. So I think this has the name contract greeter. Yeah, so it's gonna take and get that contract. It's gonna then I can name, or let it, that's fine, I can actually go ahead and deploy that. And once it's deployed, I basically console.log the address, because that is the address. We can use it on a front end side or anywhere else, because contract in short is basically a piece of code. It has a bunch of functions, right? So you would need that address in order to execute those functions. Like let's say in this case it's setting the greeting or sending the greeting, right? So for that purposes, I'm printing the contract because I want to know where the contract is. And similarly, then I run the function and I await, because it's gonna be an asynchronous function, because I'm going to deploy on the Ethereum blockchain. So we don't know how the latency would be and how much time it takes for mining and etc. So I think we are ready. Let's go ahead and deploy our project. So to deploy, we'll be running the command npx hardhat run scripts deploy.js and then network Rinkeby. So now we are gonna deploy our contract. Let's see. Okay, I think I need to make some changes. I think I need to pass, because our contract takes one constructor. Let's pass something to the deploy. Hello. So I think we need to pass an argument. Let's see if the compilation is successful. So it's taking some bit of time. Okay, awesome. You can see the contract was deployed at this address. Yeah, so here we can see, because we deployed it on test network, we have to go to etherscan Rinkeby. We can see our contract here. If we go here, this is our contract, and similar contracts, transaction. This is one transaction that was created 1 minute ago because we created it. And from this is my wallet address, and this is the contract token hash, right? And this is the contract address here, and this is the fees that it was taken about. I'm trying to look into any other information that could be, but yeah, that's all how you can deploy a contract in 5 minutes. Hope you guys like this video. If so, give me a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks everyone.